Alright, this is After Effects Intro to Animation Part 2, where I'm going to get into looking at some timing with keyframes and holds, and we're going to get into a little bit more of the graph editor. So let's do a new composition. We'll call this one keyframe and timing. Let's see, we'll do this one about, there we go, 6 seconds. Kind of dark gray, okay. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and create a square. Change this to, maybe a pink color. And I'm going to create a rectangle. And I'm going to come down here, I'm going to select my shape layer, and I'm going to hit the P on the keyboard, P for position. I'm going to select that position right here. And then I'm going to come up here with my cursor, and I'm going to hit the Y button. And then I'm going to move my anchor point there. And I'm going to select my selection tool. And I'm going to give myself a keyframe on this first frame. So down here, my time indicator, make sure you're on your very beginning at the 0. And I'm going to click the position on the stopwatch, and that gives me my first frame. And I'm going to move it down here for about 1 second. And then I'm going to move my rectangle across the screen. And you'll see once I do that, once I move it, it will give me an automatic keyframe. I'm going to do it again, move it 2 seconds, and I'm going to move it down here. Now say if it didn't give me a keyframe here, I can create a keyframe right here, over here, next to the left of the stopwatch. So let me put that back. I'm going to move it a second down here. Move it over here. I'm going to move it my time indicator. Move my rectangle. Move my time indicator. Whoops. Move my rectangle. Move my time indicator, and then move my rectangle one more time. And then we'll go ahead and preview it and see how it looks. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now let's say if I'm working on my Tetris project and I do want this shape to kind of be a little more robotic, a little more, going straight across and make it look more like the Tetris game. Let me show how you might do that with holds. And I'll do that manually first. So let me go ahead and, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this. I'm going to change the color of my rectangle. Make sure I get them. Well, let's see, maybe on this one, I'm going to go ahead and create a different one. Let me turn these off. Let me create a new one. So let's go into creating a rectangle. Sorry about my birds. Let me hit the Y. Okay, so now I'm going to hit my stopwatch for my keyframe. And I want this to hold, so I'm going to basically move my time indicator to almost 1 second. And then I'm going to move it across. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna give it a keyframe. So I'm gonna give that keyframe over here on the left where I mentioned. So right here, I'll give it the keyframe. So that will hold it in that position. So that's a hold, so it doesn't go anywhere. So now I'm going to move it to that 1 second mark, maybe a couple frames later. And then now I'm going to move it across. So there you see has very few frames in there, so it'll go really quick. Okay, so let me move this again, almost to the 2 second mark. And I'm going to give it a keyframe for the hold. And I'm going to move it a couple frames. And I'm going to move it down. And I'll do it again. Time indicator, keyframe hold, couple frames, and move. Again, move time indicator, keyframe, couple frames, and move it. So move time indicator, give it a keyframe hold. Oops, that didn't work. Give it a hold, couple frames, move it across, and then again we'll give it a hold keyframe, couple frames, and down. Okay. All right, let's see how that looks. Now that's more like it. And basically, if I wanted to rotate it, I would do the same thing. Maybe we'll give this maybe a couple rotates. We'll go ahead and give it go to the. So let's go ahead and move it here down to our rotation. So I'm going to give it a keyframe for the rotation. Move it across. We'll give it a keyframe. And we'll let it move. And then let's maybe do it 90 degrees. And that's not quite what I wanted. I think I wanted it, I don't think I got the hold right on that one again there, did I? So let's hold it there. Let's give it a hold keyframe, a couple frames, and then do 90, which doesn't quite line up there, does it? Here, let's make sure I get that lined up. Now it looks better. I'll put another hold here. Move it a couple frames. We'll line it up with that one. We'll move that one back to 0. And we'll see how that looks. Yep. Now that looks a little more like a robotic mechanical look. Okay. So now let's take a look at the graph editor and see how we can do this in the graph editor. So let me take my shape layer 2 now. Let me move that one to the top. Okay. So I got this motion, except I don't have my rotation in there. So let me go ahead and add my rotation in this one. So let's give it a, let's maybe give it a keyframe here. Maybe we'll just kind of keep adding some keyframes. And we'll rotate it on this one. So we'll do it 90 there. Maybe on this one, we'll maybe move it back to 0. We'll make that one, no, you know what, sorry. I want to make that one 90. So another hold there, we'll hold that, and then we'll move to 0, and just leave it go there. Let's take a preview of that. Yeah. Nice fluid motion, but once again, we want it to give it that mechanical, robotic look. So let's take a look and see how we can do that in the graph editor. So let's go ahead and select our rotation. Let me stop this. I'm going to move it back to my first frame. And the graph editor is over here. And we're going to see our position and our rotation frames, keyframes. So now what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to select the position, and I can tell it's not selected. Oh, and I always forget to mention this, but for right-click and make sure you're on the Edit Speed graph before you do anything with this. Okay, so I'm going to hit the position, and for whatever reason, you have to sometimes hit it twice, and then you'll see these yellow handles light up. And that's what we want to see. Now, over in here, these are quick ways to get different types. So you can right here, these have the linear, and here are the this is auto Bezier, and these are quick ways to do easy ease and ease in, ease out. And so this is a quick way to do holds. So once we hit that hold, you'll see that it automatically creates the hold frames for us. I kind of want this one here to come down just a hair. So you can kind of see it looks good with the it looks good on the position here, but let's see if we can, if it looks any better if we change the rotation. Okay, so now I have the let me stop it. I'm going to select the rotation, and you might have to select it twice. And once again, let me hit the hold, convert selected keyframes to hold. So I'm going to hit that button down here on the rotation, and now let's go ahead and preview that. There you go. That, to me, this could be a little bit of a quicker way to do this, to kind of get these holds. I think the manual way looks almost a little bit better than this one, because I think, and you could probably do that manually if you wanted to add a few more frames like we did in the manual section. So, but that's about how you do that with a graph editor. And I'm going to call this the end of this video.